first item of business, let's, I guess, take attendance.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Kuhn,
Here?
Reedy.
Here.
Feeney.
Here.
LaRilliard. Here. McLaughlin and Pearlie are excused. Platsky.
Here.
Ricard.
Present.
And Bergdorf.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. First item of business tonight is approving our previous meeting's minutes. Can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Reedy, Mr. Feeney, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. All right, now we're going to, as we often do, go a little bit out of order. First, we're going to go to number 19. Number 19 on our agenda is authorizing agreement with the New York State Board of Elections regarding the 2025 Elections Grant Program. We have our illustrious elections commissioners here. You guys would just introduce yourselves and then go right ahead.
Allison McLean Lane, Democratic Commissioner, Albany County Board of Elections.
Rachel Gleddy, Republican Commissioner.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
So number 19, this is a grant we've received that we still have some remaining money in, approximately $16,000 that we are going to put towards the 2025 general election expenses.
Okay,
This is a new grant. The current contract term is April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. And we can use it on election-related expenses for 2025 specifically.
okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments on line item 19? All right, seeing none, can I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Reedy, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, that carries. Item 20 is authorizing an agreement with the New York State Board of Elections regarding the 2025 vote by mail grant.
The vote by mail grant is as well something that we're using this year. There's approximately $80,000 left in that grant, and we are applying it to a new scanner. This scanner can count approximately 5,000 ballots an hour, and when we are doing the 3% audit, instead of it taking days or weeks, it can take hours. And that certainly frees up some time for our staff to concentrate on some of the other responsibilities that we have. Of course, this scanner costs $77,000 and will be covered by the grant.
Yes. The contract term is April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. And this is a new grant, not an extension of a grant.
Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions about that particular line item? All right, seeing none, can I have a motion? Mr. Ricard?
Second.
Mr. Reedy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Last item in this set is number 21, authorizing and directing the Board of Elections to certify its expenses regarding the 2024 election cycle.
We are requesting approval of certification and chargebacks associated with the 2024 election cycle. These chargebacks are billed back to municipalities for the cost of running elections. In 2024, we had 3 elections, including the presidential. As such, there is an increase in cost from previous years. Municipalities are billed directly for election day costs, whereas the costs associated with early voting are charged back based on eligible voting population. This is because voters can vote at any poll site in the county during early voting. The total chargeback amount for 2024 is $1,118,312.19.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this particular line item? Okay, so,
I'll make the motion.
yes. Oh, we have a question or comment. Yes. Go
No,
ahead.
motion.
Oh, okay.
That was
Well, move. I'll take that as a second.
Second.
Mr. Reedy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thank you both. Have a nice
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you. Don't forget to vote.
Okay. So we'll go. Are we going back to the top? Okay. We'll go back to the top of the agenda items. I'm sorry.
2 through 4, sponsor, and then 6 through 12.
Okay, so just items 2 through 4 and items 6 through 12 are tabled at request of sponsor. So that brings us to item number 3, correct? No, 5. Right, 5. Public hearing on proposed. Oh, okay. Late breaking news, number 5 is also tabled at request of sponsor. So where are we going?
Item 13.
Okay, that brings us to Item 13, local law number G for 2025, a local law designating the development of affordable housing as a governmental and public purpose of the County of Albany, New York.
Thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, Deputy Chair, please proceed.
I appreciate the time. As you know, there's a real critical housing crisis in Albany County. And we're shouldering even more heavier burden than we had, in the past. We know that we, even after we allocated $1 million for housing in the 2025 county budget, we realized that we need to increase our impact. And so this is what led to, the housing agenda. This local law is a crucial piece of that agenda, and it's a real chance to make a difference. This law and a subsequent local law, which will be introduced in November, they're very similar to how everything was structured with the county's work with the Capital Center this summer. So what local law G does, it codifies the development of affordable housing as a governmental and public purpose. When the law is in place, there will be a number of resolutions that will follow and that will be associated with it, and more may be added in the future. So this is what it does. It lays the framework for us to do this. The development of a revolving loan fund to connect developers with financial and advisory and educational assistance. Also, the creation of a committee which will be housed within the Advanced Albany County Alliance, which is empowered to address the actual affordable housing issues. And they will oversee the revolving loan fund, the issuance of loans and support services that are tailored to expanding affordable housing, and the structure of a dedicated source of ongoing funding to support these initiatives.
Great, thanks. So this is entirely, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is entirely about funding and not necessarily about changes in any land use laws, right?
Say that again, it's entirely about...
It's entirely about sort of creating a funding stream as opposed to the county making any changes to municipal land use laws in terms of how it would encourage affordable housing.
Yes, yes. And what we have to keep in mind, what we are trying to establish, that there is a purpose for this, okay? We put $1 million in this, in the budget last year for this. So we have started, which is a demonstration that this is something that we are serious about. Today, I went to something over at the United Tenants, just to give you a demonstration of the different types of things that are going on around the county, and things that even we can't do anything about right now. In certain instances, there's a unsafe and unfit, that's what they called it, okay, issue where people have to leave their housing. And especially in the sense that they're the renters. We're talking about the renters now. They have to leave because something is wrong with where they're living. And so they have to leave, and there is no money because they work. They make over the amount of money where DSS would actually help them. Okay, so Gabriela Romero gave the United Tenants $20,000 to help these people move into a hotel because they didn't qualify for our funding through DSS, okay? And so as different issues come up, it demonstrates the number of issues that are really out there that affect people who can't afford to actually, let's say, go into this hotel, don't have any place to go. United Tenants will be helping with the hotel. The $20,000 will help fund these people to stay in the hotel until where they were, their apartments or whatever have been, completely refurbished or whatever is wrong with them. And so what we're seeing is might be some of the things that we will be confronted with ourselves with this housing revolving loan fund, different ways in which we're going to have to use this money.
Great, thanks. Madam Chair?
Yeah, if I could just add on to the architecture of this. You are correct that we are not making amendments to, other kinds of provisions that would impact zoning or other implications. I think of local law G as creating the architecture for our housing initiative, which it's outlined in here. I think the meat of this is in the, not just the public purpose, but kind of the creation of what we're intending to do. We are modeling this housing fund that would be housed under the Albany County Alliance, which right now has models that we followed in working on drafts of additional resolutions that would be paired with this, much like the convention center was paired with additional resolutions on top of the local law. But this is creating the architecture for this housing revolving loan fund that would be housed under the Albany County Alliance, a similar board that would be overseeing this, but it would be run much like the business development grant opportunities that the county has already put into place that are also under the Alliance. So this is step one. It creates housing as a public purpose. So we have outlined very clearly what the intent of this is, to create and sustain and provide a funding stream which will be described in detail like we did with the convention center model, where the subsequent resolution outlined the funding stream. But this is step one, and this is the kind of architecture of what this is intending to do, what its purpose is, how it's going to be structured, where it's going to be housed, no pun intended, and subsequent resolutions will describe in much more detail what exactly the Alliance construct is, what the funding streams are, and so forth. Hope that's helpful.
Absolutely. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Mr. Bergdorf?
I'm not going to be supporting this tonight. I agree with the aspirational goal of trying to help people with housing, but I get the sense, while you say your goals and information is clear as to the structure, I kind of feel like we're building an airplane while we're flying it, and that's dangerous. Because when you talk about having a dedicated revenue stream, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know how much it is. Well, we will. This is different than it was with the Capitol Center, because you're asking us at this point in time, I hate to go back to my airline analogy, but to take a flyer on an idea. And we don't know how much money it is. We don't know who's going to get it. I don't know how the $1 million was spent. That was in the budget this year. How many units of housing did we produce with that $1 million? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe you guys do, but nobody else in the legislature knows.
No, it
what-
hasn't been spent. We would have come to the legislature.
So we have $1 million.
We have $1 million that will be seeded in
Okay,
this
all right.
program.
Well, once again, I don't know how it is, I don't know how it is anticipated to be spent. We went from grants to hooking up developers with banks. A developer who is looking to develop 10 units, 15 units, if they can't get funding on their own, I don't know what kind of funding we're going to give somebody to make them a better candidate for a bank for repayment. I don't know how that works. And, I'm concerned that with the amount of problems that the city of Albany has, that this is just going to be money which is going to go to the city of Albany. There's nothing, nobody's talked about limiting the the amount of money for this program, 50% for the city, 50% for the rest of the county. But, you know, until we kind of understand how it's really gonna work, until someone, maybe it's people from the Alliance, I don't know where it is, comes to us with a detailed business plan and structure, I don't know, I can't support it. And in talking with most of my colleagues, they share similar concerns. So I hope there will become a day where you can bring a business plan forward and it can be explained by people who are developers and business people and experts as to how it will work. And I know nobody wants to hear it, but the only template that we have for housing in Albany County is spending $1 million on 4 houses on 2nd Street. And it cost us actually $1.6 million to develop 4 units, one that sold for $250 and one that sold for $150. So our cost was $1.6 million for 4 units, and we got $400,000 back. If you're talking about big housing programs, fulfilling the needs that Albany County might have, there isn't enough money in the county budget for that. So I'm a little concerned that by authorizing this, it's Robert Moses, get your peers in the ground and let's see what comes later. And until you tell us how much it's going to cost, how it's going to be distributed, and how much we're going to spend per unit of housing, and how we're going to make sure that that money is rightly distributed and legally protected, it's hard to support it, at least from my perspective. And that's all, you know, I just want to give you a sense of concerns.
May I
Sure, go ahead.
respond? First of all, Albany County did not spend $1 million.
But the chair just said that.
Wait. I'm addressing the properties
Oh.
that you said, and it wasn't on 2nd Street, it was on 2nd Avenue.
2nd Ave.
Okay? But that was money that went to the land bank. They applied for the money. And Albany County was the only way they could get the money, it had to come through us. So we did not spend the money.
We allocated it to the
Mr.
land
Bergdorf.
bank. We-
And it says right in here, how we're gonna do it, the creation of a committee that will be housed within Advanced Albany County Alliance. We realize that this is really a huge undertaking, but every single week you will find that there is something on the news or in the papers or in magazines or wherever you wanna look or hear about housing. One of the things that we have found out over these years, it's not just about building new housing, okay? But it could be about the affordable housing and who is able to afford all of these new apartments that are being built by these developers. That's just one piece. Well, what about the unhoused? What about the people that live in the rural communities? They also have a need for affordable housing. They also have a need, just like these people today, where we talked about, who did not fit into the services that we provide through DSS. They didn't even qualify for the supplemental services. This will be set up so that it will be run differently. So there will be different programs, whether it's for people who own the homes and who may need money to repair the homes, or people who cannot afford rent, or the totally unhoused people we know that are homeless that we see right outside the street here, whether it's veterans. We get the money. We're gonna really are gonna develop this funding source, okay? But not only that, there is going to be a committee set up with the Albany County Alliance, okay, to develop this whole piece that you're talking about, that you want to see. But first of all, we have to establish that there is, as we put it right here, a governmental and public purpose for taking on housing as a serious issue and doing something about it. So you may not see it all right now, but the $1 million that was put aside, that was something that was voted on and passed, and it was something that was done in good faith, because people do realize it is something that needs to happen. And we're not going to be stopped because we don't have every cam and cog right now. But once we get the money, and once we get it's set up in the alliance, and the committee is set up, you'll see. You just gotta give it a little time.
I hope you get there.
We will.
There are a number of us who have had very strong records in housing. Those of us who have worked to establish the Beltran Center and King Field 1 and King Field 2 under the Colony Senior Service Centers, and the Colony IDA that financed all the Carondelet housing on Del Toro Boulevard. But that was all done by encouraging the private sector and using tools that did not cost tax dollars, and created thousands of units of housing. And I am nervous when government wants to make the decisions, and that's why I am concerned that until someone comes to us, like folks from the Alliance or the Catholic Diocese or a strong not-for-profit, and says we can run this type of housing, until there is that institutional structure that is proved somewhat successful.
And that's what this says.
Well,
If you
you
read
know
a little
something?
bit more, that's what it says, Paul.
I appreciate it, that's your aspirational goals. But until, why does this have to happen now? Why would it not happen when you have the structure of what you want to do, like you did with the Capitol Center, so people could see the whole proposal and feel comfortable with it?
Well, as
Okay,
we're
all right,
building a
hold
house,
on,
there is a
hold on.
plan that has to be put into place. Wait,
Okay.
there is a
No,
plan that, okay, and
I
so
wanna
this is
vote.
part of the plan.
Okay,
I understand.
all right. Mr. Ricard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm all for saving money, Paul, and I believe we should have everything, our I's dotted and our T's crossed. The vice chair lady and I have had various discussions. I represent one of the poorest districts, if not the poorest district in Albany County, 17th legislative district for City of Coes. A lot of my constituents are struggling. They really are. I'll tell you a story. I'm not going to name any names. Rental property I owned in the past. I was contacted by a local agency, Albany County agency. The guy was literally living on the street in another part of my legislative district. They wanted to know if I could do anything to help out. The individual did go to live in my rental property and gave me a little bit of a deal on the rent. And they're successful now, and, living on his own down there and has a job. The point I'm trying to make is people are struggling very readily, and we, like I said, I like to save money, but we have to do everything we can to help these individuals out. We really do, and I think that, both the chairwoman and the vice chairwoman are doing an excellent job on this, and I think we have to do everything we can to help them out.
I understand where you're coming from.
Mr. Reedy.
I understand where you
Thank
want to
you.
go.
Mr. Reedy.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just for clarification's sake, this that we would be passing is not, we're not passing any financial monies, right? Fantastic. I have an aspirational goal to make a motion. I notice my name is not on the sponsor list. I would like to be added to that. I only add on to my colleague from Coho's comments that the affordability crisis in housing, it is county, state, nationwide, and Guilderland, we have huge issues with this. If I have one concern on this is that we need to be doing all that we can, and my only concern would be, are we doing enough and moving quickly enough? So I want to thank the deputy chair, the madam chair, everyone who worked on this and bringing this to us. And with that, I will make a motion
Okay.
to pass this out.
Does anyone else have any, Ms. Plotsky?
Second.
Oh, all right.
I just wanted to make a comment.
Yes, please, go ahead.
I just want to address, you brought up Carondelet and the senior housing in Colony. There's like 3-year waiting lists for those facilities. So I think this initiative is well worth it. I fully support it to get things going, to inspire, start inspiring the creation of housing for seniors that are affordable and other people in Albany County. So I just wanted to make that point.
Well, I think those projects probably cost $60 million all in all, not including Carondelet. So you're getting some sense of the magnitude of what you had to spend in dollars 15 years ago to get the amount of units that we have today, where there's still a 3-year waiting list for. So if we're going to have a meaningful program, it's got to have a lot of money behind it. Has to have a lot of money. And it can't just be Albany County money. And until there is a business case that shows, Albany County money has to be leveraged with federal and state money, until some of those things, or where are the programs going to be concentrated? How do we know it's going to be truly county-wide? Those are the things that people want to see in order to get on board. So I hope someday that we have those things before us.
Okay, everybody's had their say. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Bergdorf, are you opposed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item 14 is table a request of sponsor. Item 15. All right, fine.
Unless you want to take 17, 18, 22, 23.
Why don't we do that? Okay, we're gonna take 17, we're gonna jump down to 17. 17 is amending resolution number 186 for 2024 regarding an agreement with the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services and the distribution number 13 grant. Oh, okay. Who's presenting on this?
I thought I might have said this.
Oh, this is the public defense.
This is you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I was trying to accelerate your ability to leave here.
All right. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay. So,
You just want to introduce yourself?
Matthew Alpern, Chief Assistant Public Defender for the Albany County Public Defender Office.
Great, thank you. Proceed.
And so we're requesting, along with the alternate public defender office, authorization for a 1-year no-cost extension of the distribution number 13 grant with the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services that currently ends on December 31st, 2025, and as well as related budget amendments. There were periods of vacancies in the positions in there, and so we need the extension to complete the spending of the grant.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this particular line item?
Motion.
Mr. Feeney?
Second.
Mr. Reedy? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Is there something else for him? Oh, okay, great. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Have a good evening. So, okay, we'll do number 18 now, which is authorizing agreement with New York State Education Department regarding the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund grant. Good evening, gentlemen. If you could just introduce yourselves, and then you can go right ahead.
I'm Craig Carlson, Director of Albany County Law of Records.
Ricardo Ray Ramos, Archivist.
Great, thank you.
So we're here requesting permission to accept grant funding from the New York State Department of Education. The Hall of Records, in partnership with the town of Bethlehem, was awarded a grant for $138,834. We do one of these every year. We use the money to digitize and index records, both within the Hall of Records collection as well as with the municipal records collections as well. We've been doing this as a shared service for about 10 years now almost. Yep, so this year we're doing the City of Albany marriage records from 1870 to 1949 within the Hall of Records collection, and then for the town of Bethlehem, we're doing vital records and various other records held at the town clerk's office.
Thank you. I'll say I talked to the county clerk recently at great length, and he had great enthusiasm for this endeavor.
Yes.
Wanting to great detail with me. So, does anybody have any questions or comments on this?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Great project. Thank you. All right, now we're going to skip to 22 and 23. 22 is authorizing an agreement of twinning and cooperation between Albany County and Northumberland County, Ontario, Canada. I did not realize that twinning was a verb. but,
Yeah, I'm not
maybe you could explain
entirely
this all
sure
to
if that's
us.
the legal term. but,
Could you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, good evening, members. Patrick Kern from the County Executive's Office. So this request is seeking authorization for an agreement of twinning and cooperation between Albany County and Northumberland County in Canada. So basically, this agreement is a mutual establishment of a relationship to collaborate and cooperate on economic development, ideas, initiatives, as well as cultural exchanges with Northumberland County. They had reached out to us. Initially, this was not our initiative. However, the county executive and the, I don't know the term, the warden of Northumberland County were discussing, the possibility of future collaboration and cooperation on economic development ideas, different initiatives, things like that. Basically, this is the establishment of that relationship. We're not exactly sure what this is going to look like, but it's basically the concept of a sister city or a twin city, something like that.
So what are the practical ramifications?
Yeah,
of
I
this?
think a lot of those discussions haven't happened yet. I think basically a lot of this, we're encouraged by this because a lot of the tourism of upstate New York and specifically Albany County as well as Western New York comes from Canadians, and specifically Canadians from this region, which is basically in between Montreal and Toronto. With the heightened political tensions between the two nations, as well as we've seen a massive decrease in the number of Canadians entering New York, crossing the border for tourism purposes. Basically, this is an establishment of we're trying to encourage cooperation, good relationship, good tourism practices between the two counties.
Well, I commend you on that. I think we should be doing everything in our power to, given everything that's going on in this country, to cement our long and friendly relationship with all of our Canadian friends. So I certainly support this. Does anyone else have any questions or comments on this particular line item?
Motion.
Okay, motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, okay.
Another fun fact, the American dollar is worth $1.40 in Canada, so
There you go.
it's a great place to spend your money.
There you go.
Thank you.
Is that it? Okay, so what's number 23? Are we going to that one next? Okay. Number 23, amending resolution number 26 for 1996 to update the affirmative action policy for Albany County to include service-disabled, veteran-owned businesses. Good evening. Introduce yourself and proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. I'm Josh Beams from the County Executive's Office. I'm Chairwoman, Deputy Chairwoman. And before we do request an amendment to a prior resolution that is intended to update Albany County's affirmative action policy to add service-disabled owned veteran businesses. Currently, Albany County has required utilization percentages of 7% for minority and 5% for women-owned businesses for contracts awarded over $100,000. This amendment would add a 3% requirement for service-disabled veteran-owned businesses and increase the overall required utilization to 15%. This request for an amending resolution is intended to honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans by bolstering their economic opportunities in Albany County. It brings us in line with several other counties that are already including SDVOBs in their MWBE programs, and it will expand the pool of eligible and competitive vendors for county contracts. It also can assist in fulfilling utilization goals as well as potentially decreasing the amount of waivers the county receives and has to award.
Great. I just had I couldn't be more supportive of the sentiment. I just kind of have a question though. Are there are enough service-disabled, veteran-owned businesses for that 3% threshold to be
So I believe it's
achievable and practical?
So when I was with the state, I believe they put a 6% in back in like 2018, 2019. So the states are much higher, and they enforce, I think, more strictly than a lot of the counties do, and they generally meet their service to disabled veteran businesses, yes.
All right.
Because you can be all three of these. You can be a minority,
Sure.
woman, and disabled veteran, so, to meet that percentage.
That is, that's helpful information. Thanks. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Mr. Bergdorf?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to be a co-sponsor of this. And so we're going to go from 7 and 5 equals 12 to 7, 5, and 3 equals 15.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to point out that the state of New York has a 30% MWBE set-aside goal program. Are disabled vets, are they approved by ESDC as well? Do they have to go through the ESDC certification process?
I believe so, yes.
Could you get back to me on that?
Sure.
Because I'd like to know who the certifying agency is, because in all of these programs, and I've been involved with it for 25 years, there is much to do and say about what is truly an MBE, what is truly an MWBE. And I assume that the same sort of criteria needs to be applied to a disabled veterans. You know, we're a little anemic with our set-asides here in Albany County. The Dormitory Authority built the building next door for the state controller and achieved 30%. The Dormitory Authority also achieved 30% at the Capitol Center. And that's where my experience is. And, you know, I worked with Bill Clay's son for 25 years who ran those programs. So we can be a lot more successful if we want to be. There are people in this region who can fill those goals. And frankly, it's not up to me to speak for the minority community, but I find our goals somewhat embarrassing given the success that there is around us for more vibrant participation by minorities, women, and hopefully now disabled veterans. So I'd like to be a co-sponsor, but I would like to see, you know, if the Black Caucus wanted to take a look at increasing the goals, you might find some support where you might not think you would get it. And I'll say that, and I'm glad to be a co-sponsor.
Okay. Mr. Reedy?
Please add me as a co-sponsor as well.
Add me.
Should we add all?
Anyone not want to be a co-sponsor?
Add all.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. So we're going back to 15, which is public hearing on proposed local law number J for 2025, a local law of the County of Albany, New York, amending Chapter 161 of the Albany County Code to place restrictions on the sale and possession of flare guns. So this is for the public hearing on this proposed local law.
Talk about the whole thing right now?
Sure.
We talked, I think, briefly at the last meeting, but this is a prohibition on the sale of flare guns to anyone under the age of 21. This follows an executive order by the county exec on the same prohibition. And in full disclosure, this is an initiative that I'm carrying for the county exec. We worked with his office, obviously, as well as the Albany County DA's office on the language. But hope to move out to public hearing tonight. I think we're sending around some modest changes. The most material one deals with the exemptions, and one of them under section 4 sub 3C, that's new, and it essentially is a carve out for like Boy Scout troops, that kind of thing, who may have an occasion to use flare guns for some scouting type of thing, or
And word raising.
that's kind of the.
Okay, got it. Okay, great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or comments on this? This is public hearing only. Mr. Bergdorf?
No, I think this is great, your amendment, because I know a lot of people that are under 21 that have a jet ski or a boat. They go boating, they're required by the navigation law and DEC to have safety equipment. And so I don't think we want to be telling people who are required to have these types of devices that they can't
Right.
buy them or possess them.
And that new section would cover that.
Yes, I just raised one other thing. I know we're focused on illegal and bad use of flare guns, but there are people who camp, who hike, who use a flare gun as a survival tool. If you could somehow work that into this language, I don't know how you would do it. I just wanted to introduce the concept. I can't think of any other reason why, someone would have one if they weren't using it for, if they were using it for a legitimate purpose.
Okay, we'll
Boaters,
take it under
campers,
advisement.
camping, hikers, that sort of thing.
Camper here of 58 years, never had a flare gun on my remote.
Well, you obviously never got lost in the Adirondacks. I did. Now I don't go in without a
Anyways, we'll take it under advisement.
compass, backup compass,
Any other questions or comments on this proposed local law hearing? Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Where are we now? Was that it? Oh, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?